Shakespeare, you devil.
Cody, what are you doing? Why are you dressed up like that?
Oh, didn't you hear? Congress abolished the Constitution and made me monarch.
Really?
That's right. Congress decided to abandon 240 years of republicanism and embrace absolute monarchy.
My liege.
And as my first act as monarch, I decree that we review Courtier from Aldrich Entertainment Group.
Well, I'd really like to, King Cody, only I gotta get ready for a date. You see, I'm finally going out with Kylie. I've been wanting to go out with her for months, and I finally got the courage to ask her out.
You wouldn't dare defy your monarch. We'll review this game, and then I'll decide if you can go out with this girl.
What? My duty is my duty.
Courtier is set in the fictional Renaissance-era city-state of Tempest. It's also AEG's first game in their Tempest line of games, in which different developers can design games in the shared universe. It's a line that also includes such games as Mercante, Dominaire, and Love Letter.
2 to 4 players attempt to gain influence over the Queen's ministers in hopes of gaining her favor and advancing their schemes. That's right, in this game you'll be playing the role of a Renaissance-era lobbyist. Now these ministers, or courtiers as they're otherwise known, are located across the board in different sections called coteries. The coteries include the Senate, where you'll find the Palatine and the Magistrate, or the Church, where you'll attempt to gain influence over the Cardinal or the Bishop. The military coterie has the Marshal, the Queen's Oath, and the Admiral, and the many others on the board. Now you'll need to control these different courtiers throughout the game. Also, if you control the individual coteries themselves, you gain different advantages.
Now, at the beginning of the game, each player will receive one of these, a petition card. This tells you which courtiers you have to control in order to claim it. Now this will be secret, and only the player that is dealt it can claim this card. But in addition, there will be 4 public petition cards that anybody can claim throughout the game. Now once you have claimed this petition, there is a victory point value. So when you get it, you can put this in your victory pile.
Now how do you control these courtiers, you say? Well, that's where the influence and power cards come in. Now you're supposed to start the game with this complicated bidding system of who gets the first hand. We usually like to start with the quick start rules, which allows you to deal 5 random cards to each player.
It's just easier to start that way, and it feeds into our delusion that we're board game rebels.
Influence cards allow you to place influence cubes, of which you have a finite amount, next to the various courtiers. Power cards generally allow you to play dirty tricks on other players, like switching cubes around the board. Now 1 influence card and 1 power card are always face up. When you need to draw a card, you can either take it from the top of the deck, or you can grab one of the face up cards.
Now, on your turn, you can do one of 3 things. You can play an influence or power card, you can discard all the cards in your hand, or you can grab a cube from the reserve pool that you can play later.
When you play an influence card, you place one of your cubes in one of the spaces next to a courtier. In order to control the courtier, all of the spaces must be filled up, and you must control a majority of those spaces.
You can also control a coterie if you have a majority of cubes within it. If you control the coterie, you get its coterie card. For instance, if you control the Senate's coterie card at the end of the game, you get 10 bonus points. If you control the Church coterie card, you get to place 2 influence tokens instead of just 1. If you control the Royal Family coterie, no one can switch out any of your markers on the board except in the Royal Family coterie. If you control the Culture coterie, you get 1 extra point per turn.
At the end of your turn, you bring your hand back up to 5 cards. You know, Cody, I've been thinking, why didn't they make somebody else king? Somebody more important, maybe Michael J. Fox or Justin Bieber?
Well, they didn't choose Michael J. Fox or Justin Bieber, they chose me! They did toy with Tom Brokaw for a while.
Really?
Yeah.
Once you control all of the courtiers on either your secret petition or a public petition, you can then claim that petition and gain those victory points. But once you do that, all of your influence on the courtiers that you used disappear. A new petition card is then drawn to replace the one that has just been fulfilled. The face-up power card and face-up influence card are also discarded and replaced with cards from their respective decks.
Also, you'll draw a card from the Fashion deck once a petition is completed. Now, these cards deal with the Queen's likes and dislikes. Sometimes they have important political developments in the game. Often, they will instruct every player to draw a cube from the reserve.
Now, oftentimes fashion cards will tell you to place white cubes next to certain courtiers. These white cubes are neutral, so if a player has the majority of the influence with the courtier, they can use these white cubes to help claim him. Also, if ever a courtier is completely filled with white cubes, that means any player can use him to fill a petition.
Now this deck is especially prepared at the beginning of the game. There will always be 12 cards in this deck, and mixed somewhere in the bottom 6 will be this card. The Queen is arrested. When this card makes its appearance, the game is over. Players then add up their points from their coterie cards and their petition cards, and whoever has the most points wins the game.
Wait a second, Cody.
King Cody.
Wait a second, King Cody. Are you telling me that the president actually signed off on this? Well, how about the courts? What about the army, for that matter? You know, the Constitution guarantees us checks and balances, not just between executive and legislative and judicial branches, but a vertical system between federal, local, and state governments. Are you telling me that they all signed off on this?
Yes, Justin, they all signed off on it. I am the absolute monarch of America.
I can't believe Stephen Harper went along with this. You know, if I would have chosen someone to be king, I would have chosen William Shatner.
Seriously, Justin, what is it with you and Canadians?
I love the theme of this game. The game designers have created this wonderfully fun world and designed the game around it. The result is as much richness and depth as any game out there, as far as story is concerned, but without being terribly complex. Now, this means that this engaging theme allows Courtier to tell great stories. I mean, the framework is there, but the story is still yours to fill in.
Courtier is a fun game. No, scratch that. Courtier is a really fun game. At its heart, it's a card game that features area control. Now, it takes a little while to pick up as you need to populate the board with cubes, but once you knock out a few of those petitions and those white cubes start appearing, it really picks up. It's an intense race, particularly at the end when you're trying to get those petitions before the other guys do and before that final fashion card makes an appearance.
The game is relatively easy to learn, but difficult to master. The rules and gameplay are not complex, but it does require the players to think ahead and to strategize and plan their moves. I like the game is subtle in its intrigue and allows you to apply many different tactics to accomplish your goals.
There is some great competition here. Like when you're going for that one courtier that you need to fulfill a petition and you know somebody else needs that same courtier. And that's ratcheted up when you know you're both going for the same public petition. It creates some aggressive, enthusiastic play, and it's a lot of fun.
I really like the various coteries and using their special powers to accomplish your goals. You know, as you control one or more of these coteries, you really get that growing sense of power and influence. And these cards can change hands depending on what happens here on the board. And so it constantly causes players to reevaluate their strategies. You know, this game really gives me that one more turn feeling, especially when it's over. I constantly find myself wanting to play again just to see how things turn out the next time.
Now, I'm not a huge Eurogame fan, but there are a few that I like a lot, and I like Courtier a lot. It's a game that doesn't take too long to play, but it packs a big punch every time I play it.
And you'll find yourself wanting to play it again, and again, and again. Hang on now. A phone call. Justin's House of Pancakes and Bondage, how may I help you?
Hey, Justin! I was just wondering if we're still on for X-Wing miniatures next week.
Well, I'd like to, but I don't know. It really depends on what Cody decrees for next week.
Decrees? Wait a minute. Cody's not pulling that Congress has been dissolved and now I'm queen bit, is he?
Wait, Queen?
Well, he's full of crap!
Are you telling me that Congress didn't dissolve the Constitution? I knew Stephen Harper wouldn't stand for that.
That's right, Justin. Congress is doing just fine. It's still filled with 535, the most dedicated men and women, always putting the good of the country ahead of party and petty personal ambition. The real question, Justin, is, are we, the citizens, worthy of their wise leadership?
That's good to know, Zach.
You betcha. I'll see you next week. And you tell Cody he's a craphead.
Thanks, Zach. You know, Zach just told me that you made all that up about Congress and the Constitution. You're not my king!
Cut the song! Cut the song!
It's the courtiers. Better watch out for those guys. It's the courtiers. Everything they're saying is full of lies. All in a power-hungry craze. Demons dressed in suits and bustiers. Who won't stop till you're socially dead? Trading battlegrounds for ballrooms instead. Climbing social ladders while they're staying on track. Whining and dining while they're stabbing your back. It's the courtiers. Better watch out for those guys. It's the courtiers. Everything they're saying is full of lies. Holding a power-hungry face. Demons dressed in suits and bustiers.
I'm really sorry, Justin. I guess I just wanted to be a big shot for a change.
Cody, you're my friend. That means you'll always be a big shot in my book.
Say, you know what else is a big shot? Courtier. Our recommendation is buy it.
Buy it!
Buy it, cause I like Courtier too.
And Justin, I'm really sorry you nearly missed your date tonight.
Oh my gosh, Kylie, I gotta go get ready!
Oh, hey!
Hi.
I'm so glad you could make it. I didn't think you were.
Yeah, I know, I'm sorry I'm late. I had this friend come over who actually convinced me he was king of America. It doesn't matter, I'm just glad I'm here with you finally.
No, me too. I have a little bit of a confession.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've had a crush on you for like months.
Really? It's so weird because I've had a crush on you like forever. I can't believe this. A beautiful woman has a crush on me.
Really? Yeah, no, I really do. We just seemed like we had so much in common.
Oh,
like,
I know. What's your favorite board game?
Oh, you know, I don't really like board games.
Say, if you like this review, please like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. The Discriminating Gamer.
Somebody help me on my feet again. And I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I've been dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
3, 2, 1. Sorry. No, I'll do a real one.
All right.